Good afternoon and welcome to WeFM's 3 p.m. news. I am your presenter, Rajiv Providence. First, on the local scene, a 39-year-old man from Annesville has been charged in connection with a stabbing incident in Kingstown. Police say Trelton John, a landscaper, was arrested after allegedly stabbing a 24-year-old laborer from King Garden with a broken glass bottle on May 30th. The victim sustained multiple injuries during the altercation. John appeared before the Kingstown Magistrate Court on Monday and pleaded not guilty. He was granted bail in the sum of $2,750 EC with one surety. As part of his bail conditions, John must avoid contact with the complainant, report to the Central Police Station every Wednesday, and seek court permission before leaving the country. The case has been adjourned to March 10, 2026. Invest SVG is celebrating a successful diaspora outreach and investment program following a month-long tour across 4 major cities. The initiative, titled Home is Where the Heart Is, wrapped up in New York on May 17th after making stops in London, Toronto, and Washington, D.C. The goal, to inspire Vincentians living abroad to invest back home in St. Vincent and the Grenadines. Over 450 people attended the events, which featured presentations from key government officials and agencies, including the Bank of St. Vincent and the Grenadines, National Properties Limited, and the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. Entrepreneur Kenley Shortmus John, who attended the DC session, called the experience very educational and impressive. Vincentians traveled from as far as Arizona, Maryland, and Virginia to take part, and the interest wasn't just talk. Invest SVG says about 10 solid investment leads have emerged from the tour, with projects being discussed in areas like tourism, healthcare, real estate, and the creative sector. The agency also met with foreign investors interested in renewable energy and construction. Invest SVG says it will continue building these connections, reminding Vincentians abroad that investment starts at home. Still on the local scene, 2 men have been charged with handling stolen goods following a police investigation into a recent theft in Annesville. On May 31st, police arrested and jointly charged 32-year-old businessman Adenal Richards of Glamorgan and 48-year-old auto body technician Pedro Clark of Murray's Village. The men are accused of knowingly receiving 4 stolen composite tires for their own benefit. The offense reportedly occurred on May 19th. Both appeared before the Kingstown Magistrate Court on Monday, June 2nd, and pleaded not guilty. Station bail of $2,500 each was continued with one surety. Clark is due back in court on March 16, 2026, and Richards on March 23rd. On to news in the region. Grenada is hosting a 2-day high-level policy dialogue on disability inclusion, bringing together regional leaders, policymakers, and advocates to advance inclusive development across the Caribbean. The event, held at the Radisson Grenada Beach Resort, focuses on integrating disability inclusion into national policies, public services, and development planning. It aligns with global efforts emphasized at the Global Disability Summit 2025, where the Caribbean Development Bank reaffirmed its commitment to championing disability inclusion in the region. Key outcomes expected from the dialogue include a regional roadmap for disability-inclusive policies, commitments to enhance accessibility in education, employment, and public infrastructure, strategies to strengthen data collection and stakeholder engagement, and mechanisms to ensure the active participation of persons with disabilities in policy development. Guyana's President Dr. Irfan Ali has dismissed recent allegations made by businessman Nazar Mohammed, labeling them as dishonest and factually incorrect. Mohammed, who is under US sanctions, claimed in a video that a vehicle he imported was valued at US $75,000. President Ali refuted this, stating that the actual value was significantly higher and that Mohammed presented a falsified invoice to the Guyana Revenue Authority. The president emphasized the importance of transparency and integrity, asserting that such actions undermine public trust and that the nation's commitment to lawful conduct. He reaffirmed his administration's dedication to upholding the rule of law and ensuring accountability. This controversy arises amid heightened scrutiny of business practices in Guyana, with the government signaling a firm stance against corruption and fraudulent activities. Finally, on the international scene, in the Netherlands, the government has collapsed following the withdrawal of the Far-Right Party for Freedom, or PVV, from the ruling coalition. PVV leader Geert Wilders announced the decision on June 3rd, citing disagreements over asylum policy. Prime Minister Dick Schoof subsequently tendered his resignation to King Willem-Alexander. The departure of PVV ministers leaves the remaining cabinet members to serve in a caretaker capacity until new elections are held, likely in late October or November. Analysts suggest that forming a new coalition could take months given the country's fragmented political landscape. Wilders has indicated his intention to run for prime minister in the upcoming elections, framing the vote as a referendum on immigration policy. This has been WeFM's 3 p.m. news. I have been your presenter, Rajiv Providence. Join us again at 5:30 for WeFM's evening news, and we thank you for listening.